You're here for the Cami session. If you haven't done so already, you guys are welcome to go to this link. You can open up this presentation, and I'm pushing the link out to you right now. And what this will allow you to do is take you to a published version of this presentation. If you want to, you guys are welcome to bookmark that so that you can go back to it later. There will be some resources that are shared throughout the presentation that you guys might want to be able to access later. All right. As we're going through today, just be aware that if you guys are going back and forth between multiple tabs, the one that has the red dot is always the Google Meet tab. You can always get back to the Meet session by selecting the one that has the red dot. When we ask you to participate in polls or submit questions, you'll notice that you have a tool set that is in the bottom right-hand corner that has the triangle, square, and the circle. And that anytime you want to ask a question, we encourage you guys to do it there. It is seen by everybody who's participating in the session, and it gives them an opportunity to upvote any question you might have if they have the same question. That way we can address common questions or questions that have been favorited. And then finally, if you guys want to submit content through the chat area, you probably know what the chat window looks like, but it is that little icon that looks like a chat bubble. You are welcome to select that as well. If you guys want to chat back and forth as we're presenting, that's fine. If you're having any sort of technical issues, you could list that there as well, and we'll do our best to help you guys out. Okay, today I am your presenter. That's me, Jeff Blankenship. I'm part of the EdTech HEB coaching team. I've been with the district for going on 15 years, and our moderator today is Charity Weeman. All right, but we're going to go ahead and get the presentation underway. Okay, and so you guys are here for Cami. If you're not familiar with Cami, it's an online document annotation markup tool. It allows you to do quite a few things. As a teacher, you can provide quite a bit of content for your kiddos ahead of time through documents you're sharing with them, but it also has some really, really nice tools that can kind of simplify the learning process for your students. So it allows you to provide feedback in a variety of formats, and it integrates seamlessly with Canvas. So if you are a Canvas user and you haven't been using Cami, this session will probably be especially interesting to you. That's not to say that it doesn't have a place in some of the lower grade classrooms. It would just be used in a slightly different way. And I will do my best to cover some of that today as well and give you guys ideas for how it can be used at all levels. Okay, so for today, what you guys are learning, a variety of ways for Cami to enhance instruction and augment student learning in your class. The reason that you're learning it is so you can provide a transformative, high-effect alternative to conventional teaching tools and methods. And finally, how will you know that you have learned it? And hopefully you will realize you have learned it through your ability to apply Cami tools to various learning opportunities within your classroom. Okay, so my hope is that, you know, one day you're chugging along and you're doing something and you think to yourself, you know what, this is cool, but it would be even cooler in Cami. And start making those connections for yourself and start thinking about ways that you could potentially use this with your kiddos. All right. If you guys are familiar with high effect strategies, these are just a couple of potential high effect strategies that lend themselves to the Cami tool. So by the way, you are able to come back at, like I said, a later date and do more investigating on these. If you want more information, you can click on any of the links that are listed under that high effect column, or you can click in the bottom right hand corner where those little eyeglasses are. If you click those, you will see that it's provides you with, sorry, I'm turning my laser pointer. So right down here, it will take you to the MetaX website, and it explains all of this stuff in really super great detail. So if you find yourself tired one night and you can't fall asleep and you need something to help you fall asleep, definitely take a look at some of this stuff here. But generally speaking, cognitive task analysis, feedback, Cami is awesome for feedback. You can put success criteria into students' assignments for them, provide an explanation for them in a variety of ways, and then finally problem-solving teaching. So if you're not really familiar with a lot of these, you'll see there's a brief definition there. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I believe you guys can take a look at this independently at some other time. But what you ultimately need to know about high effect strategies is anything higher than a 0.4 is considered good. Okay, so these ones that are like 0.65 or 1.29 are really, really excellent teaching strategies that you can use in conjunction with the technology. So definitely take a look at these when you get the chance. All right. So if you've never accessed Kami before, it's available to you guys within your ClassLink environment, okay? Like everything in the district, it's available to you there. It's also available to the kids there as well. More often than not, however, your kids would probably be accessing it through some sort of learning management system, whether it be Canvas or Seesaw, okay? You will be going into Kami to create content for them. You will then be sharing it to them through the learning management system. When you get into the Kami environment, you'll see that this is the landing page, and you have quite a few things that are available to you. At first, initially it's kind of overwhelming, but just know that you can pull content in from your Google Drive. You can pull content in directly from your computer. So if you have a PDF document that's on your desktop, you can pull it in that way. You'll see that there's this option for Kami Library as well, okay? When you do choose the Kami library, it takes you to the templates. So be aware that's the same as the templates. All right. And you'll see that the alternative way of accessing templates is right over here on the right. I'm going to show you guys a few examples. We're going to have a practice document a little bit later that will show you some examples of the templates that are available within Kami. There's quite a few. They're broken down by grade level, and they're also broken down by subject area. So I would encourage you guys to take a look at those templates, because some of them are really, really beneficial, and it can maybe save you guys from having to create the wheel in some cases. But be aware that ultimately anything that's in our curriculum, if it's in a Google format already and you have it in your drive, it's very easy for you to then pull it in to the Kami environment from your Google Drive environment and make the changes that you want to make before sharing it with your kids. All right. Only other thing I would let you guys know, you do have the ability to pull in PDFs, as I said, but just wanted to kind of note, this is sort of like an important nuance that you want to be aware of. A lot of the time, a PDF will be something that was typewritten. It was a document at one time, and it was turned into a PDF. However, there are other times where people have made a photocopy or scanned in a document, and the system recognizes that as an image rather than text. So just be aware, the nice part about Kami is it does have optical character recognition. We're not going to get into that in great detail today, but you may occasionally find that you're trying to use an existing PDF document and it's not recognizing it as text, it's seeing it as an image instead. There are tools within Kami, so you'll see right here, this text recognition option. If you find yourself in that situation and it's not seeing it as text, you can always choose that text recognition option, and it will then take that picture and it will convert it into readable text for the system. Okay, so just be aware of that. Happens from time to time. It's not that common, but be aware that it's there and it's available to you guys if you need it. All right. And then finally, down here in the bottom right-hand corner, tutorials. You guys are welcome to kind of look at some of the tutorials. Some of what we'll be covering today is available to you guys within the tutorial environment as well. It's really, their help center and their tutorials are really, really useful. So if after today you don't apply and start using Kami right away and you just need to revisit some of the concepts that we cover today, certainly I would encourage you guys to take a look at their tutorials and their help. We also post this recording after the fact on our EdTech website, so you guys are welcome to revisit this recording as well. All right, so jumping right in, when you go into Kami for the first time and you start a new document, you'll have a menu bar across the top of your screen that has some of these options. So I just want you guys to be familiar with what they are and where they live. So you'll have a menu bar at the top of your screen, okay, and you have the ability to toggle a sidebar that you could open and close. You have the ability to find within the document, and this is just a search feature. If you're looking for a specific word within the document, you could type that in and it will locate the every instance of that word that exists within the document and allow you to find content more readily. The file name and location. This is really, really cool. If it's something that you guys already have in your drive and you're pulling in, a lot of the time it will just live in the original location within your drive. But if it's something that you're creating from the templates, or if you're creating a new copy of something, you'll notice that right up here, it shows that it's in my drive, okay, and it's in a folder called Kami Uploads. So about 90% of the time, if you create something in Kami and you're going to look for it within your drive, it automatically places it into that folder called Kami Uploads, and that's where you'll be able to find it. So if you take something and you modify it, you put some information in there for your kids that you wanted them to have in addition to what was already part of a curriculum document, for example, and you wanted to then add it to your Canvas LMS, you would probably find that document in the Kami Uploads folder. And at that point, you could then insert it into your course however you wanted to. All right. Undo and redo. These are, you guys are familiar with these. I'm not going to over explain them. They're your best friends. They could help you out in a lot of situations. So you do have the ability to undo things if you make a mistake. You have the ability to zoom in on a document if you want to. If you need to focus on a specific area, you can do that. You have the ability to open files. This open file format will allow you to open. It's very much like what was on the landing page. You could open content from your computer or from your Google Drive environment. Sharing a document, if you created a document and you want to share it with a colleague, you could absolutely get a share link, send it to them. That would allow them to make a copy for them to use within their classroom environment. All right, printing, sort of self-explanatory. Saving, also sort of self-explanatory. The nice part about, I think they kind of put that save button there for people who are maybe paranoid about losing stuff, because it does save about every 15 seconds on its own. But if you're one of those people who feels more comfortable choosing a save button because that's what you've always done, you can absolutely do that. All right. You also do have the ability to download anything that you've created within the Kami environment. You can download as a static PDF document and then print it if you should desire to do so. We touched on help a little bit earlier. This takes you to the same help area as the tutorials on the front page. Finally, you have the menu. Menu gives you a lot of different options, and we're going to touch on that briefly in just a little bit. And then finally, your profile and settings. So there are some content you get if you want to have your picture on your profile, you could do that sort of thing. If you want to have an alternative email associated with your account, you could do those sorts of things as well. That would all be done within the profile and settings area. All right. So moving on. Okay, you also have a toolbar. So there's your menu, which will be across the top of your screen. And then there is your toolbar. You'll notice that you have several tools that are available to you on the left-hand side. This is scrolling through some of those. You have your dictionary, read aloud, markup, comments, text box, equation editor. You have the drawing tool, shapes tool, eraser. You have the ability to add a variety of medias. And then finally, you also have that signature option. I'm not going to spend too much time on the signature option today because instructionally, it probably wouldn't have a whole lot of significance in your world. But just so you guys know, if you receive a PDF document and you need to apply it, because from time to time, I'm sure you guys have been asked to assign electronic documents. If you were to get an electronic document that needed a signature, you could open that in Kami and you could apply a signature from here if you wanted to, and then save out a copy and send it back to whomever was requiring that signature of you. So just be aware it's capable of doing that. All right. The thing that I really want you guys to know is that these tools will really help you guys place support structures into place that can assist your students with learning. Okay, again, I'm going to touch on these tools today as we're going through the live portion of the presentation when I go into the system. But if you ever need to come back and revisit the tools in greater detail, you can always click this option for Learn More, and it will take you out to the Kami website to explain the tools in much greater detail. All right. So probably what you're going to be doing a majority of the time, I would guess, based on how you guys work within the district, you're going to be pulling content down from the curriculum and you're going to be wanting to share that content with your kiddos. Occasionally, from time to time, you're going to want to make modifications to those documents before you share them out with your kiddos. And we're going to touch on how to do that. Some of the things you could do, for example, is you could put a video into their document that's going to be shared with them that would explain instructions for what they need to do, or an audio comment or something of that nature that would help the kids along on an assignment. What you really need to know, however, it does not have to be a PDF in order for it to function within the Kami environment. It does work really, really well with all of the Google formats that we use as a district. So be aware that it's capable of handling PDFs. It's capable of handling picture files. It's capable of handling the whole Google Suite pretty much. So you can put a doc, You could put a presentation and also a Sheets document directly into the Kami environment and modify it the way that you want to before sharing it with your kiddos. All right. And of course, does it work with Canvas? I've kind of already touched on this, but glad you asked. If you guys just want to quickly see what that would look like, it looks sort of like this. Okay. You'll notice that you choose that external tool option. Kami comes up. You would locate the file within your drive, and then you would save it out. So if you guys have ever used the Google LTI before, and you guys are familiar with Google LTI, this isn't that significantly different. Thank you, Charity, for sharing those directions. Charity has shared the directions with you guys. So if you want step-by-step directions for using the Kami LTI, she shared that, but it's not that much different from what you guys are probably already doing with Google. All right. When you do that, it automatically takes a copy of that document. It forces out to each of the kids' accounts for them to complete, and then you can run it through SpeedGrader and grade it the way that you would grade any other assignment. For our friends who do Seesaw, it's going to be a little bit different. You do have the ability to get a forced copy link for the Kami assignment. You would put something like that into your Seesaw environment or to your Seesaw slide so that when the kids clicked on it, it would force a copy of that document into their drive. You would then have the ability to access that later and look at it. You also have the ability to do, really, if it were me and I were doing kindergarten through second grade, I would probably do a collaborative document, which you could also do as well within the Kami environment. I'd probably do a collaborative document and have them all put their responses into a shared document, and it would probably make it easier for you guys in terms of grading after the fact.
I just wanted to throw it out there that if you are a fan of Jamboard, Kami is an excellent replacement, if not maybe a better replacement, because it allows you to see who made what edits. Students cannot change each other's edits. You can change any edits you'd like to. So if Timmy puts something inappropriate, you can take a little screenshot, see that it's him, and quickly delete it. You can move things. The kids cannot move each other's elements. So it's a wonderful answer to a Jamboard sort of situation. Just wanted to throw that out there.
That is excellent advice. Thank you for sharing. And so just be aware, and what we'll try to do is I'll go ahead, this original document that I'm going to be pushing out and sharing with you guys, I'm going to send you this link. This is going to force a copy of the document to your drive, and this is going to be an individual copy. So you guys will probably be prompted to, when you click this link, you'll probably be prompted to log into Kami through your Google account. So make sure you choose the Google option. And what I'm basically going to do is give you guys about 5 minutes to take a look at the document as I've created it. And I'm going to kind of explain some of it for you here in just a second. But I'm also wanting to give you guys the time to explore and investigate the tools and try some of the tools. And I want you to take a look at, there's going to be 20 pages on this document. You're not expected to do anything on those 20 pages. The reason that I made 20 pages is I just wanted you to see all of the pages that are in this document came from their template gallery, and they were ready-mades, ready to use. Okay, so I just wanted you to see how vast their gallery really is and some of the content that's already freely available within their gallery. So I'm going to go ahead and share this link with you now. Like I said, when you click on that link, you'll be taken to a login screen. Hopefully, it should prompt you to use your Google account to log in. And once you do that, you should then see this document, but I'll wait for you guys to go ahead and get there. All right, hopefully everybody's there or close to getting there. What I want you guys to do is, you'll see the document is just labeled PDPJ's Kami practice. And what you'll see is that I have a, oops, let me go ahead and, let me go ahead and click OK there. Okay. You guys will see a document very, very similar to this one here. If you want to, I have put a couple examples on here for, you'll see there's an example text comment, an example text video comment, and an example casting comment, which is a screen capture. You guys are welcome to click on that purple, blue, and that red dot. to take a look at how each of those things are displayed to your students. So ultimately, as a teacher, I was able to add those by choosing that comment tool over on the left-hand side. Okay, when I do that, I get a choice for a voice comment, a video comment, or a screen capture comment. So you get an example of what each of those looks like. Okay, and I want you to also experiment with the read aloud tool. I have our district mission statement there. I have it in both English and Spanish, and there is a way, I will tell you, within the read aloud tool to switch between the two languages. So I won't give too much more information than that. But go ahead and take a look, experiment with those tools, experiment with the read aloud tool. And I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes starting now to go ahead and take a look at this. You're welcome to scroll through, look at all those documents. You are welcome to experiment with the other tools. Feel free to mark on any of these documents and draw them. The copy that you have is just your copy, so you won't be affecting anybody else's content. All right. So I'll give you guys 5 minutes starting now. And if you guys want to, I can play some music.
And every tool that is available to you can also be made available to your students. So your students can make recordings of themselves responding to things that you've given them on your documents. So if you like that you can do it, it's even better because the kids can do it too.
Good point. And I will play just a little music for you guys. You got about 3 minutes left. All right, so hopefully you guys have had a chance to experiment with some of the tools and the resources that were available to you within the Kami environment. And if we have time at the end, we'll see if time allows, I will go ahead and push this out collaboratively so that you guys can just see what that looks like. But just to give you an example of how I did what I did just now, you'll notice up here under that shared document option, when I select it, this window opens up and you'll see that you have the ability to choose, like anyone with the link. I chose to create an individual copy right here, and then I copied, and that's the link that I shared with you guys. You'll notice that I could have just as easily have chosen anybody with the link was an editor, and then I could have shared that link instead, and rather than giving you your own copy, it would have made it a collaborative copy. Like I said, my fear was that 66 people in the same document might have been a little bit of a hot mess. So we'll try that at the end though, if time allows. All right, so just really quick, I'm not going to spend too much time. Hopefully you guys get a chance to see how these work. I did just want to show you the read aloud tool, just in case you weren't able to figure it out on your own. You'll notice that when I select read aloud here, I can come down and I can click the English version right here. You'll notice it has a Spanish accent, because if I look here, about the second option from the very, very bottom where it has speed, you'll notice that I can choose a window to switch between languages, okay? So if you did have French text, if you had a Mandarin, or if you had Hindu on your document instead, you could choose one of these language instead. So here's my US English. I can go to Microsoft Mark. When I click it this time, okay, so if I go down to my Spanish one now, I click that language drop down, I'm going to go to Spanish, and you'll notice they have cotillion, and they also have the choice for United States Spanish as well. So I'll just choose cotillion, save. And I feel like both do a pretty decent job in terms of reading the content. And like I said, I sometimes just choose the Spanish one and have it read English because I like the accent. So if there's an accent you prefer hearing, certainly you guys are welcome to pick any language pack that you want and have it be the thing that reads to you or to the kids. All right. And as Charity mentioned, all of the things that I'm showing you guys where you could front load information for your kiddos have the capacity and the ability to do as well. So they could put a text comment on something, they could put a video comment, and they could also do a video recording of their screen that could be shared with you. If they were collaborating with classmates on an assignment, that could also be shared with their classmates. Okay, so just be aware there's a lot of power here. I really like the idea that I could put something like the steps of a process that I want my kids to follow, or maybe there were steps of a strategy that I wanted them to use within a worksheet that we had discussed in class. And maybe I just want to put a voice recording of that. Like, don't forget to use, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers when you're doing the steps of division, and talk them through those things so that they could quickly review it before they begin doing it. Okay, so I think there's a lot of power there. Certainly the ability to do casting from your computer, you could put an example that you guys had done that day in class. If you wanted to use something like, Jamboard's going away, so maybe that's not the best example, but maybe you wanted to use like a Canva whiteboard, or even you could do it right within Kami if you wanted to use it as a whiteboard, and then use your digital drawing tool. Come in and actually just do the steps of how to solve a problem as an example, and post that back into the assignment for them before you share it with them in the LMS. They'll have access to that content when they get it. Okay, so it can be a very, very powerful resource. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and erase that for now. All right. So one other thing I wanted to share with you guys, if you guys are not familiar with the SAMR model for technology integration, you know, a lot of what we see in the district, and this is my personal experience in terms of what I've seen in terms of Kami usage within the district, and I think this probably stems a lot from what we experienced during COVID. A lot of what's being done, or what I've seen being done, is basically taking worksheets and just putting them directly into the Kami environment, pulling it directly out of the curriculum, putting it in there, and having the kids respond to the worksheets through Kami, which is fine. but just be aware that that only exists at the substitution level for technology integration, which is the most basic level of technology integration, okay? You're basically just making an enhancement. You're taking a technology and you're substituting it for traditional means of classroom instruction. So you'll notice as you move up the scale though, and this is one of those things, the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because I feel like it empowers you to share this kind of information with your campus administrator when they're coming in and they're doing evaluations or they're doing walkthroughs and they're asking why you're using a specific technology. You can kind of go ahead and take and put in like those things like the videos for instructional purposes, or you providing an explanation for your kiddos using the commenting tool, and it moves it from substitution all the way up to redefinition. Okay, so you're basically taking that technology and it's allowing creating of a new task that previously wasn't inconceivable. In the past, if a kiddo was working at home and they needed some help or guidance, they had to wait till they came to school the next day to hear your explanation again. But if you're providing some video explanations that's just built into their assignment, you're bumping that up to possibly redefinition. At the very least, you're going up to the modification area for technology allowing a significant task redesign, okay? So it's important for you to kind of just know and be familiar with this kind of language, just so when you're involved with your teachers, your campus administrator doing your evaluation, you can explain your thinking behind some of the things that you're doing, all right?
I must butt in here and say that this is also deeply useful if you have a substitute and you're leaving an assignment that definitely requires your finesse and your explanation. And also if you have students that are at alternative locations and you're sending them assignments through Canvas, you can give that your personal touch and make sure that they get the version of the instructions that you want.
All right. Good point. Excellent point, actually. Also, to just be aware that, there's domains within T-Test now that require technology usage. So that's part of why I'm empowering you with that SAMR knowledge. But if you want additional information about how the technologies we use as a district relate to T-Tests, you can go to our district website. And this will take you there. So for example, if you go to our EdTech website, you select CAMI and you go down to the research section, you'll see that the stuff about the high effect strategies is there. Also to its correlation to T-test correlations to the dimensions is here, so that you don't have to make that leap in thinking. We've done it for you, but you can list this as support for those dimensions. If you're using CAMI, you're doing these things, all right? So just be aware that that's there for you. Let me share that tab just so you can see what it looks like real quick. You guys will see if I scroll down to the bottom, there's the dimensions, all right? All right, and finally, we're kind of going to be wrapping this up. Let's take a look. Additional resources, you guys can visit this content at a later date if you want to. Be aware that this is part of one of the slides that's here, talks about some of those tools in greater detail, all right? Again, be aware that we're getting ready to give you guys the survey. You do have to complete the survey in order to get credit for participating in the course. So if you want that 1 hour of flex credit, do make sure that you complete the survey we're about to share with you. If you would like to join us on social media, we have all of these options available to you guys. You're welcome. You don't have to pick. I always tell people pick their poison. It doesn't have to be all of them. It could just be one of them. But all of these are resources we have for social media within our EdTech department. We encourage you to follow us on one of those. All right. And if you would like to watch previous sessions of PDA in your PJs, including this one, that is available to you through the EdTech website as well. Okay, and quickly just want to thank you guys for participating today. And we certainly appreciate you guys participating in our PD in your PJs event. Look for some of the future ones coming up here in the near future. And if you didn't know it already, we're also having live training events here at the PEP May as well. So be on the lookout for those.